we always have to ask ourselves, what's our dharma? What's our duty? And in many cases we have more than one. What's your purpose here? What's your highest dharma, you can say? And for all of us, that main purpose, main dharma, is to wake up. That's why we took birth, is to wake up, to experience the truth of who we are, to experience, to know really who we are, that truth. Now, along the way, we also have a lot of other duties. We have a lot of other ways that our dharma gets manifest through different roles, different duties, different relationships. And it's really important as we move through our life to ask ourselves, in what way this role, this job, this relationship, this is in service of my ultimate highest truth. Now, some of it may feel difficult and inconvenient in many cases, like family members. But we have to remember also that the family itself is its own dharma. We wouldn't be here, none of us, if it weren't for our family. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for those who gave us birth. Our families really did the very best that they could do. They really tried. In most cases, our parents were young when we were born, in the midst of their own karmic package, their own struggles, their own confusion, their own issues. In many cases, they're still going through that. Parents have agendas. Everybody has agendas. Ways that they see the world, ways that they see truth. Now, here's what happens a lot. When someone breaks out of that mold, that vision, that agenda, it actually makes everybody else have to look at it in a completely different way. If, let's say, I grow up in a family that's all about materialism. I didn't, but let's just say theoretically I did. If it was a family that was all about materialism, and suddenly I become a renunciant. Well, that's something then that family members end up having to look at. And most people don't want a mirror in their face. And so it's much easier for them to think that people who are choosing spirituality are choosing it because they ran away, had a breakdown, couldn't handle it, couldn't do it, that they somehow were failing. If you're going to serve as a model of someone who had that and left it for this, you can't do it in a way that people can write it off. You have to be that mirror. The gentle, loving mirror of what choice people aren't making. When we get that real strong pull from families to not do this, in a lot of cases it's because it's very, very scary to the sort of agreed upon family dynamic or agreed upon family value, family ethic of what's important to us, how we live, what we value. And to commit oneself to a spiritual practice, of meditation, of service, God forbid to work and not get paid for it, to connect to God, this is scary for a lot of people. For families that may be very religious, but may not necessarily have this type of spiritual component to it, or for whom the idea of you experiencing yourself in a place that is a foreign land, a foreign tradition, that scares them. Don't try to push them. Don't try to convince them. Don't try to fight them on it. Just live your truth. Because remember, time moves forward. There's a beautiful line in a poem by Khalil Gibran about parents and children. He's speaking in the poem to the parents. And he's telling them about how time moves only forward. And that they should not seek to hold their children back. But rather that they are the bow from which the arrow is sent off into tomorrow. And I love the poem, and I always share it with parents and with children who are having issues with their parents, because it's a beautiful metaphor of, yes, stay connected and realize, as the arrow, your highest dharma is not to stay in the bag that's connected to the bow. Your highest dharma as an arrow is to fly from the bow. And the highest dharma of parents is not to try to crazy glue that arrow into the bow and to not let go, but to let go. Knowing that we've given our children the values, the ethics, the sanskaras, that we've given them all we can. And now it's time for them to soar off into time, into tomorrow. And so as arrows, it's important for us not to lose that opportunity just because the bow doesn't necessarily want us to. But it's also important to love that bow and to stay connected and in love to move forth into your truth. And the truth is a magnet. And whether it's your parents, your family, your friends, your community, it will attract people, it will hold them. Not all of them, but those who are meant to be there along your path. And you'll find your way. Just stay anchored in your truth. And the way will open, the way will appear, you'll create that way. And you'll be that magnet also for so many people to start to experience their truth as well.